Hey everyone, it's Paul with your Bold Profits Daily. Today I want to tell you about what I believe is going to be a massive bull market in a sector that I made my bones in. And I'm talking about biotechnology. Those of you that are subscribers to Profits Unlimited know that this is the sector that really made me. As the story that I like to tell goes, that in 1999, right after the human genome was first sequenced, I was working for a fund, and at that moment, no one really covered biotechnology separately. And my then boss said to me, "Hey, go find out what's going on." And she said, "There's a conference in Boston. Leave right now, go attend it, and find out why all these stocks are just suddenly soaring higher." So I packed my bags and went to Boston and attended this biotech conference and just sat there, and I had all of these words just like thrown at me about the genome and polymorphisms. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't have the heart to tell my boss that I actually failed biology when I was in school. And it was my worst subject. So instead, I just went and bought a couple of textbooks, and then I started to read. And that was the beginnings of Google. And I Googled every term that I didn't know. And over time, I just built layers and layers of knowledge until I could read pretty much any paper and understand what it was that a company did, and also figure out how to play the biotech cycle, because biotechnology companies are very different. These companies often have no sales, they have no profits, they continue to raise money by selling stock to the market. So in other words, it is driven a lot by psychology. So you've got to get that right. And I can tell you that from now 20 years of investing in biotechnology as a professional and personally, I believe that we are on the verge of a massive, huge bull market in biotechnology. And I made a video telling you about this a couple of weeks ago. I want to do it again because I don't want you to miss out. So I took some notes down here as to what is going to drive this particular bull market. All right. So this bull market, like every bull market, is going to be driven by a few things. And the number one thing that I believe is going to drive this bull market is data, which is that the cost of sequencing the human genome all the way back in 1999 was something like $2.7 billion. That's for one genome. Today, we have it down to about $600, and it's steadily going down, where I believe in the next couple of years, it's going to be $100, and it is going to spawn an entire universe of data that is going to allow us to diagnose disease more accurately, match medicines to those diseases more appropriately, and of course, generate better health outcomes for everyone. And in so doing, it is going to drive the stock prices of certain companies way higher. Now, if you go back to the last biotech bull market, which ended in 2015, companies like Celgene and Gilead, they went up hundreds of percent. Smaller companies went up thousands of percent. Now, in this biotech bull market, I believe it is going to be a completely different set of companies. I believe it is going to be companies that have different exposure. And I'll tell you where those exposures are and how you can get, two ways how you can get in on it once I get through the other things that are going to drive this bull market. The second thing that is going to drive this bull market is that we also have other types of technology like CRISPR that have been invented, created, being perfected, being refined, that can come into play, and where they can really drive both how accurately somebody can be diagnosed, what you can do, and obviously the benefit to the patient. And the third thing I would tell you is that in terms of the market cycle, biotechnology is just right. If you think about it, biotechnology companies, because they constantly depend on the stock market, for their lives. In other words, they have intellectual property that is or is not valuable depending on number of results. That could be clinical trials, it could be FDA approvals, it can obviously be sales of the drug. However, the vast majority of them have to get to that point where they sell it to the market without having any sales, without having any profits. So they depend on the stock market, which means you have to have investors that are willing to take that risk. And obviously, when interest rates are very high, there's fewer investors that want to take that risk. When interest rates are going down, as they are now, well, there's more people that are willing to take that risk, and that sends money into the market. And that, when you combine it with certain events, successful outcomes, can skyrocket these biotech stocks higher. So those are the three reasons why this biotech bull market, I believe, is going to end up making new highs for certain types of stocks. And the types of stocks are going to be cancer companies, because insurance companies and us as patients, we're willing to pay for that. Orphan drug companies, these are drugs that are focused, laser focused on a very small group of people that the drug can help very, very completely, and it helps most of them. In other words, many drugs only work for 4 or 5 out of 10 people, and the effect can be small. These orphan drugs, they work in nearly everyone, and they work very, very well. And the third is in molecular diagnostic companies, and that is in diagnosing people. So those are the three areas that I believe is going to drive this biotech bull market. So if you want to get in to this biotech bull market, 2 ways. First, here's my shameless plug. If you click right above this shoulder here, you'll see a Strong Hands logo, which will take you to an announcement that will tell you about how you can get in on this biotech bull market through one of my services. So in the Strong Hands right there, just click right there and we'll take you to a link that will show you how to get in. And if you want to just buy a ETF, which is a kind of stock that has all kinds of biotechs in it, will not give you the laser focus on the 3 areas that I was telling you about, which is cancer, orphan drugs, and molecular diagnostics, well, then you can buy ticker symbol XBI. Ticker symbol XBI. This is the SPDR Biotech ETF. And the cool thing about this ETF is that it is equal weighted. So small companies have the same amount of weight as the big companies. So if these small companies, which is the ones you really want to be in, they go up a lot, you'll benefit. And those same small companies are the ones that we focus on in my Extreme Fortune service, which is the one that if you click on the Strong Hands right there, it'll tell you how to get into that. So that's my Bull Profits Daily for you this week. Biotech bull market coming is going to be huge. Either get in through my Extreme Fortune service or through the XBI ETF. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please share it with your friends and family and comment below. And I'll have another one of these for you next week. Until then, this is Paul saying bye.